Hello, you're listening to From McClay to Zelma. I'm your host, Karen Miller. This podcast is about the adventures and travels of two women from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, who work for the U.S. Army at Zama, Japan. Their stories are told through hundreds of letters written home. Welcome to Episode 8, Modern Vices. That was an expression that Bern uses in letter 17 in reference to her father being difficult to shop for. I think it's fascinating that they mail gifts to their parents to distribute to the various parts of the family. I'm sure that it's probably a more practical and economical way to send gifts from Japan. But I can also picture Helen oohing and awing over these treasures for everyone else. She would definitely enjoy seeing all of these things, and then she would wrap them up in old newspapers and send them on to various harnishes throughout Pennsylvania. My grandmother was the only one of the 7 harnish children living in Harrisburg at this time, as far as I know. Since this episode includes a lot of shopping with prices, I researched and discovered that the exchange rate was 360 yen to $1. I also checked out the Gajoin Hotel in Tokyo, where they stayed. They didn't like it, but it sure looks great now. It's the most beautiful hotel property I think I've ever seen. In 2009, the hotel was designated a tangible cultural property. It is called a museum hotel. It has certainly made it onto my travel bucket list. I encourage you to check it out, and have put a link to the site on the podcast webpage. The Imperial Hotel was equally impressive, and I was surprised to discover that it had been designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. He also designed Falling Water in Pennsylvania, and you should check it out if you've never been there. It's off the beaten path, but it's worth the trip. The Imperial was completed in 1923, famously surviving a big earthquake right after its opening, and it was the premier hotel in Tokyo for 45 years, until it was demolished in 1968 to build a modern, air-conditioned property with larger rooms. This is the second time they mention people watching in the lobby of a hotel, something I've always been prone to myself. Finally, Bern mentions in her letter that some information is for their eyes only, and Peg does the same in a letter in the near future. I've seen this in movies, but I guess I had forgotten that passing letters around a group of family and friends was a commonplace activity at the time. By our standards today, it seems like an invasion of privacy. For those of you who wonder, I also have some misgivings about privacy in regards to this project. I certainly don't wish to cause anyone any discomfort, but I feel like there is historical value in these letters. It helps me know these people, some of whom passed away before I was born. Peg never specifically told me what I was supposed to do with the letters, but she knew I would read them. My curiosity level is similar to hers. Podcasting began in 2003, but I don't think either one of us was aware of its existence while she was alive. Everyone's first thought is to make this story into a historical fiction novel or write a screenplay. I would love to see a beautiful redhead playing Peg and dancing in 1950s Japan. Who knows where the future will take McClay. For now, the gift of knowing these people is one I want to give my children and grandchildren, and anyone else who wants to listen. Letter 16 from Peg, written August 2nd, 1953, Camp Zama. Dear Mother and Daddy, I have lots of news tonight. Hope I can stay awake long enough to tell it all. First, my job, it's only lukewarm, but I've taken the attitude that most everyone has. We live for the weekends. I thought about asking for a transfer, but I think I'll stick it out because I hate to give up the chance for a 5. So I just do my work and sing to myself and chew my chewing gum, and the heck with everyone else. There are a few nice people in my office, but I don't like most of them, and I don't think they like me, so we get along fine. Well, to tell you the good stuff, Friday night, I went into Yokohama and met Velma and 2 other girls, and we went to the 45 Club. It's an NCO club, and just plain fellas, sergeants and sailors go there. We had a terrific time, the best I've had yet. We danced every dance. Gee, I sure had fun. I came home in a cab because I missed the 10:30 bus, and I sure feel wealthy when I toss 1,200 yen around. What if it would be $1,200? It's a lot nicer than the bus, though. The light spots on this paper are where my hand rests, and I just put on hand lotion, sorry. Saturday, Bern had to work till noon. When she was finished, she and I went into Tokyo by ourselves. We got a train at a station not far from Zama, and we had to transfer, but it wasn't too bad. The next time, I think we'll be able to do it without asking directions from anyone. We had reservations at a special services hotel called Gajoin in Tokyo, so we went there first and checked in. Then we got a cab, 500 yen at a crack, and went to the Ginza, which is the biggest shopping center in Tokyo. We had visions of buying loads of things, but we weren't familiar with the stores, so we didn't buy anything there. We didn't like Tokyo because it's too big, too hot, and we don't know where to go. So we got disgusted with shopping and went over to the Imperial Hotel, just like big wheels. We sat in the lobby and watched people. There was quite a large family gathering of a well-to-do Japanese family sitting in the lobby, and you never saw such bowing and politeness in your life. The younger girls, I suppose they were daughters or nieces, almost bowed in half to the papa-san. After a while, they went into the dining room, so we went in too. The dining room was lovely. Crystal chandeliers, pretty table service, and an orchestra that played the smoothest waltzes. But the drummer was a bebopster because he looked at me and grinned and almost bounced out of his seat as though he wanted to get in the groove. He was really cute. And the piano player was a young girl, Daddy. I'm sure if you had seen her, I would have gotten a lecture for sure, and you'd tell me that I could do the same if I'd only practice. Well, we had dinner. I had roast chicken, which wasn't good at all, French fries, fried eggplant, salad, tea, praline ice cream, and some kind of cookie that was delicious. Bern had a steak that she said was very good. Her meal was only 750 yen and mine was 800, so it was worth it, and more, because we enjoyed eating in one of the show places of the world. Then we went back to the hotel. We went to the Rainbow Room to dance. After a while, two fellows asked us to sit with them, so we did. They were just fair, but it was someone to talk to. I bet you think we're real brazen, but that's the way everyone is here, very informal, and you get to know a lot of people. The one fella was an American Indian, and the other fella told me that Sammy's family had some kind of oil rights, and he'd never done a day's work in his life, and thinks nothing of spending $50 in 5 minutes. The hotel was pretty nice, but our room wasn't too clean, so not liking Tokyo or the hotel too well, we got up early in the morning, this morning, and came back to Yokohama. Now comes the best part. We went shopping like mad in Yokohama. We're sending a box for you. All of the things are from both of us, and I sure wish I could be there to see you open it. You'll just think it's so fascinating. I think none of the things were really expensive, but we just couldn't resist buying any longer. I'll enclose a list of who gets what, and will you please send the stuff to Mark and Anna May? We're told that it's better to send one big box, and I want you to see what we got them. Pay for the postage out of my money. Oh, golly, I wish I could be there when you open it. Tell us what everyone says. We bought some stuff for ourselves, too. I'm collecting Hakata dolls, which are pottery figurines about 6 inches tall. They're made up to represent the Japanese people doing their everyday activities. I have a mama-san with her little boy, and today I got the bride and groom. Bern has a man with a bird. The Japanese people love birds. We each bought a basket for fruit, and we got an ice bucket with 4 glasses, so we're going to have a party some night. We had to recruit Velma to help us with the bus with all of our packages and suitcases. I got paid last week. It was retroactive to the 22nd of June, and I got $180. The same day, I got my per diem payment, which was $80. I put $180 in the bank in a savings fund, but I'm going to have an allotment made out to the Camp Curtin Trust Company. I think I'm going to wait another payday before I do anything so I can see how much money I need to live on. Mother, did you tell Mark your joke? Write soon and often. Take care of yourselves and hug Blondie for me. Love, Peg. Note designating gifts. Who gets what? Mother, green buttons. Father, black and gold card holder. Aunt Pete, buttons with faces on them. Nancy, Geddas with green straps. If they're too small, tell her to send us an outline of her foot and we'll get the right size. Barb and Ron, sake cups with 7 lucky gods. Betsy and Emmett, a set of napkin rings. Marky, blue kimono and Geddas with red straps. He got more because it was his birthday. See instructions for Nancy if they don't fit. Marlene, red kimono. Mark and Sis, a set of napkin rings. Please tell us if things got there okay and whether or not they fit. I wish you could be surprised when you open the box, but then you wouldn't know who gets what. God, I murder the King's English almost as much as my Japanese friends. I'm also enclosing a conversion card of yen to dollars, so you'll know what I'm talking about when I tell you so much yen this or so much yen that. Mother, did you sign the card on Gloria's wedding gift from all of us or just you and Daddy? That was a good idea. You couldn't have gotten anything nicer, and if it is from all of us, take my share out of my money. Did any bills come for me? Did you get a TV set yet? Why don't you go up to the Stuckey storage some night and get mine? Tell everyone, the Jacobs, the Kaisers, the Fissels, the Pollocks, and anyone else that I said hello. Just remembered something else. It's not really important, but I just want to tell you, I feel so pampered. Every day I change clothes from the skin out, and every night I put on clean pajamas. Ain't I the luxurious one? Gee, I can't even spell it. Mother, we didn't forget your birthday, but we have something special in mind, and we'll send it when we get it. Just read the last letter I got from you. Just read the last letter I got from you. Bern's mail didn't catch up with her yet, so we still don't know about Mark and Sis's visit. Can't wait to hear about it, and also about Gloria's wedding. Margaret Ann. P.S. Tell me some good things you cooked for people lately. Nothing I've eaten so far has been 1/10 as good as what you make. Though I'd like to chat with you a while too. Army folks who have worked in offices overseas laughingly refer to the coffee clubs. I can now see what they mean. There is no cafeteria or eating place in our building, but we pay so much a month, and then a mama-san, any older Japanese woman, brings coffee around 4 times a day in thin, hand-painted, fine china cups. We don't actually take a break to drink this, but have it on the desk to sip in between letters, etc. Some racket. We started last Tuesday to take Japanese lessons. Everyone we mention this to says, "Oh, we can tell you're new. You won't keep that up very long." Why, I don't know. It seems rather difficult and complicated, but our teacher is a Japanese gentleman with a delightful sense of humor, and we enjoy the first lesson very much. Since we are situated out here in the country and don't have quite so many temptations to run around every night, perhaps we will accomplish something quite useful, such as being able to speak Japanese. Time will tell. I get a kick out of the signs we see around in various places. Japanese people who think they have mastered the English language furnish us with such information as policeman station, laddie's room, best bartering, that's over a pawn shop. The popular song Anytime becomes, in print, Ant Time. And then there are some signs which are correctly written, but which actually don't mean a thing. When we left Tokyo to come back here on Sunday, we succeeded in buying our tickets, and then we felt we were quite bright to find a sign saying Track 7, Yokohama Station. Up we go to the track, when something tells me to ask the conductor just to make sure. Is this the Yokohama train? Being quite sure that it is. But the answer is no, Yokohama train on track 8. Now, how in the world are you supposed to know that? This is really a different kind of existence for me. The job is not one which requires you to work under any pressure. Today is the first time I've not had enough to do to keep me busy, but the pace of the work is not nearly so exacting as transportation work required. Blessing number 1. Secondly, since we live and work right here in the same area and do not have to spend a lot of time traveling, there is much more leisure time to enjoy. And regardless of the many kids who think things are pretty dull around here, I think there's plenty to do. The swimming pool is available every day except Thursday. There's a library, craft courses offered at night, special service shows at the clubs, and when the weather gets cooler in September or October, I'm going to take golf lessons. And when I have the energy to keep up with Peg and the other kids, I tag along on the bus to Yokohama, where we visit the enlisted men's club and eat and drink and dance. The social club is naturally less strict than back home. The social code is naturally less strict than back home. Everyone here is a stranger in a strange land, so to see any American face is an open invitation to speak and be friendly. The boys we have met have really been quite decent and pleasant to be with. I don't believe there is much chance for someone who is looking for a serious romance because these kids are all very young or married. But it is certainly the easiest thing in the world to have a pleasant evening of fun over here. For instance, one of the boys with both Peg and I on Saturday night in Tokyo told us he was just counting the days until his wife arrives in November. When we told him of the difficulty we had shopping in Tokyo because we were totally unfamiliar with the place, he offered to be our shopping guide for an afternoon if we would help him to select ivory earrings for his mother-in-law. He doesn't trust a man's judgment in such matters. Now, isn't that a happy and uncomplicated arrangement for all concerned? Don't you agree that it was good for me to get out of the rut I was in and try a different kind of existence? Peggy still is very undecided as to her major reaction to life in Japan, but I like it. Do me a favor and don't pass this letter around wholesale. Some of this information is just for you two. People in this office are very friendly and pleasant. Peg has experienced some difficulty with the folks in her place, which does not have a very good reputation for happy working conditions. That has a great deal to do with her being dissatisfied at times. But as you know, she loves to dance, so as long as she can do that, she will probably not be too unhappy. By the way, mail is very slow in reaching us, so tell everyone our new address, because I suspect that most of the delay in reaching us is due to the fact that they have to look us up in the civilian directory. I know that I haven't received all the mail which has been sent. This is now the correct address for me. Miss Bernice Harnish, Special Services Section, HQ AFFE, APO 343, care of Postmaster, San Francisco, California. Nancy mentioned in one of her letters that you had just had a letter from Esther. What did she want? Did they all come down or just Jim? There's so many things I want to know. We were advised to wait about a month before making an allotment of money for the home folks so that we could see just how much it would take us to live. Then, when we make the allotment, it may take 2 months to go through. So if my bank account is low, tell me and I will send you a money order. I didn't get any letter which explained about the mix-up, which you just mentioned in another letter. If I don't answer questions, don't think I'm ignoring you. I probably have not received that particular letter. If everyone uses the above address from now on, it should get straightened out. But whether I'll ever receive the back letters, I don't know. It's maddening. Lots of love, some for Blondie, Bern. P.S. Peg probably explained about the box we're sending. We had a great deal of fun over the weekend shopping. But, Daddy, you are difficult to buy for. Why don't you smoke or drink or acquire some other modern vice? No, don't. We'll struggle through. P.S.S. We just received your letters postmarked July 27th, so now the mail is coming. Well, listeners, I hope you're enjoying the podcast, and if you are, please subscribe in Spotify. On Apple Podcasts, hit the plus button in the top right-hand corner. This will help my listeners find my podcast more easily. You can access the show's website at www.FromMcClayToZama.com. In the next episode, Japanese West Point, you will hear letters 18 to 20. I hope you have a great week.